Coming up on Look Today, well, felony charges are brought against a Lake George man after a fatal boating accident. I've got details. And the Ride for Wishes raises close to $30,000. More on that coming up. Plus, for those of you who live in the Bolton Landing area, be careful, there's a bear on the loose. It's all ahead on Look Today. Welcome everyone, I'm J. Hood Jackson and this is Look Today. In tonight's program, I sit down with Beverly Saunders. She's the event director and artist, and we're joined by Steve Betts. He's a volunteer guide at Grant's Cottage in Wilton. They're here to talk about upcoming events planned at the cottage. I also sit down with Delaney Silvernell. Now she's a singer and songwriter, and she's here to talk about her art of music and her upcoming performance at the Charles R. Wood Theater in Glens Falls. Now that's happening on August 26th. Plus, we've got your weather for the Tri-North counties, but first, these headline stories. Well, in our lead story, we got an update on this tragedy that occurred at Log Bay Day in Lake George. Charlotte McHugh was only 8 years old when the terrible boat accident claimed her life. Now, the boat that crashed into Charlotte's boat fled the scene shortly after the accident. And the people who fled the scene, they did turn themselves into police, but it was the next morning. Well, a court ruling on Friday charged Alex West of Lake George with 2 felony charges for leaving the scene of the crime, while the other passengers on his boat were charged with misdemeanors. Now, we were at the hearing and we spoke to Steve Coffey. He's a defense attorney.
It is a tragedy that happened on Lake George, but this is not leaving the scene of an accident that he thought someone had died.
Law officials are also awaiting test results for alcohol consumption. Now, there's reason to believe that Alex was consuming alcohol on Log Bay Day. Now, people are now signing petitions to cancel the annual event, claiming that the celebration has no real value. Well, we're going to keep you updated on all these stories as we get more information. Switching from news to weather. Well, today saw overcast skies with some rain, and the weekend was rough in parts of the listening area. Let's see how the rest of the week is shaping up. For a more detailed look at our weather, we're going to head to the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast. And back to the news. Well, the 9th annual Ride for Wishes raised close to $30,000. The money will go to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Northeast New York. Now, one of the largest charity rides in the region, hundreds of motorcycles, started the trip at Full Moon Bar and rode to Adirondack Bar and Grill. Well, we spoke to Tim Riley. Now, he's a communications director for Make-A-Wish Foundation of Northeast New York.
Our 9th annual Wax Ride for Wishes. It's the largest charity bike ride in the North Country, and each year 300 to 400 riders and passengers show up to have a great time and support Make-A-Wish.
What a great event. Congratulations to everyone who participated. In other news, well, there have been reports of a roaming bear in the Bolton Landing area. After a farmer found deep flesh wounds inflicted on some of his cows, he reported the incident to the DEC. The DEC then quickly identified the source of the problem. Now, according to the farmer, the bear has been in the North Bolton area for about 3 years now and has become increasingly aggressive. I saw this bear, by the way, on Route 11. Well, the DEC has set up a bear trap on the property. We spoke to Wayne Smith, the owner of the farm.
Had warned them that there was going to be a problem with this bear because he wasn't afraid of people. He would come right up the stairs, he'd get in the back of pickup trucks. It was just a matter of time before somebody that wasn't familiar with bears was going to walk into him.
Well, be careful, everyone. Up next, I sit down with Bev Saunders. She's an event director and artist, and we're joined by Steve Betts. He's a volunteer guide at Grant's Cottage in Wilton, and they're here to talk about events planned at the cottage. Plus, I also sit down with Delaney Silvernell. Now, she's a singer and songwriter, and she's here to talk about the art of her music and her upcoming performance at the Charles R. Wood Theater, which is happening on August 28th. But first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea. How about join us for an interview? Give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000. Hello there. Okay, that's all the time we have for this edition of Look Today. Well, I've got a couple of lookouts. This morning, I had a visit at a vascular surgeon's office. And I was late because we had some trouble with the tower. And I arrived there, and Colleen at the front desk could not have been nicer, more helpful. You know how you have to fill out like 17 pages of all these questions that are totally irrelevant to why you're there? Well, she helped me fill that out. And I apologized for being late, but told her I had to get moving. So the two registered nurses, Debbie and Victoria, did their best to get through all of the things that I had to get through. And Dr. Patty came in, and he was terrific. So Lookout today goes to that vascular health surgeon's office in Queensbury. I got one other one. On Saturday, it was the Ticonderoga Street Fair. Wonderful street fair. All kinds of vendors with food and clothing and crafts. There was even a reenactment from a battle from the Revolutionary War. And I'm walking up the street there. This woman comes up to me and says, "Have you heard about the Star Trek Museum?" And I was like, "Star Trek Museum in Ticonderoga?" Well, believe it or not, they're going to turn Ticonderoga into Trek-aroga. Next Saturday on the 12th, they have a museum there where they have recreated an exact replica of the bridge and sick bay and the transporter room from the original Star Trek series. And one of the people behind it is James Cawley, who you might know is a terrific Elvis impersonator. So I assume that he plays Captain Kirk. I wonder if he runs around singing, "You ain't nothing but a Klingon." That's it for me tonight on Look TV. It's Beyond the Headlines and Tracks. Don't forget, tune in tomorrow night for the stories that matter to you. Good night, everyone.